Had added a grease fitting to a place here where there's is supposed to be a hose, and you can grease it from that like battery of grease fittings that's on the harvester head. Turned out it was really hard to access that grease fitting, and you had to have the harvester head upright where the rest of everything pretty much can be greased with it laying down. So decided to address that and try to add a connection to be able to grease it from the quick connection, and the grease fitting was removed, the axle tapped out. Here is the hose that was bought to address that, and since there was no hose there when the machine was bought, I didn't really know how to connect it and had to play around with a little with what would fit. This was incorrect. I needed a 90-degree angle on there to have a chance of getting this to work. So did a test fit, getting the axle in place, putting on a 90-degree fitting. Ended up having clearance issues with that pipe above it. It was touching the pipe and would be rubbing it to something would get damaged over time. We looked a little at it and decided that the bolt is a tiny bit too long sticking out of the nut, so when the clearance issues was discovered, we decided to shorten the bolt a couple of millimeters to give it a little clearance. Everything was brought out again. The bolt cut a couple of threads. It was removed, and then it was back to trying again. This time there is no rubbing, but it's still a very tight fit, but I will go with this for now. And then the 90-degree elbow was put on there. The hose, the bottom part was fitted now. This was actually several weeks ago, but I've been busy with other things, but lately I've been able to hook up the other end of that hose. And it's quite tight getting the threads to start grabbing on that end of the grease hose. But was eventually able to get it on there, testing for clearance and seeing how the hose moves at the other end to get a feel for how much it moves. Tightened up everything. Did a little cleaning regarding other areas. There is a little play in this roller, but I think it will have to survive for a little longer. Now we are at the more present day, more up to date with what I'm doing. Move the hoses out of the way, remove the bolts for the chain, bar, oil. That was tilted up to gain access to where all the grease hoses are connected. Some more cleaning. Removed the top cover plate since I was gonna kind of loop this hose around, since it moves a little up and down. I will have to see if this will work out, if there is clearance enough that it won't start rubbing too badly at anything when that top cover plate is back on. But with a loop around and kind of threading it through the rat's nest of hoses back here, the adapter was put back in place. I had removed it to not just add grease in here. And then a grease fitting on the outside. The hose was put back in place. Here you have a friend of mine, a mosquito. And then tighten it up. So hopefully this will work out. There are a few more things to look over before any testing can be really done. A zip tie to secure it and not have it move around.